Solve x squared minus 4x minus 3 equals 0 by completing the square. So to complete the square, let's write the equation down here. X squared minus 4x minus 3 equals 0. So to complete the square, we need to check a couple things. First, we want to make sure that we have a coefficient of 1 outside in front of the x squared term, and we do. So I don't have to do anything here. If I didn't have a 1 here, I'd have to divide everything through by whatever was here. But I have a 1, so 1x squared. So that's okay. The other thing is I want to move the constant term over to the other side. And those two things you can actually do in either order. I could have moved the constant term over first and then check to see what was in front of the x squared. Doesn't matter. You can do it either order. So I'm going to move the 3 over here by adding 3 to both sides. So if I do that, then I'm going to get x squared minus 4x, and I'm going to leave a little space here, equals 3. And the reason I'm leaving a little space is because when you complete the square, we need to figure out what goes here. And the rule is you take whatever's in front of the x, in this case the negative 4, you divide that by 2, and you square it. So if I do that, negative 4 divided by 2, that's negative 2 squared. And then negative 2 squared is 4. And that's what goes here. So I'm going to put a 4 here, plus 4, and I have to do that to both sides of the equation. You can't just add 4 to one side of an equation and expect it to be equal, so you got to do it to both sides. And now, because we added that 4, this thing here supposedly should factor as a perfect square. That means that it should be something that looks like x plus or minus something squared, and that's going to equal 4 plus 3, that's 7. So what goes here? Well, I think if we look at what we have here, this is a minus, so this is going to be a minus, and this is going to be a 2. So we can check that over here. We have x minus 2 squared. That's the same thing as x minus 2 times x minus 2. And if you FOIL that out, we get x squared for the first term, a minus 2x, and then another minus 2x, and then a plus 4, and that equals x squared minus 4x plus 4. It works. Okay. So this x minus 2 squared equals 7. I can square root both sides. So this becomes x minus 2 equals the square root of 7. And whenever you take the square root of the square of a variable, you have to tack on a plus or minus sign. So this is actually plus or minus the square root of 7. And now I can just add the 2 to the other side, and I get x equals 2 plus or minus the square root of 7. And that's my answer.